Yesterday, the House Oversight Committee gathered for a very important hearing. Mediaite reports on the purpose of the hearing. Quote, the committee met to discuss a resolution to hold Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress for refusing to comply with the congressional subpoena. That subpoena demanded that he turn over the recorded deposition of President Joe Biden as questioned by former special counsel Robert Hur. Hur investigated Biden's retention of classified documents from his time as a senator and vice president. Ultimately, the special counsel declined to prosecute Biden, stating that a jury would likely view him as a sympathetic, well-meaning, elderly man with a poor memory. Now, as you probably recall, Joe Biden was judged by the special counsel to be mentally unfit to stand trial for his mishandling of classified documents. The poor old man was just confused, Robert Hur determined. There was and there may be some merit to that excuse, maybe, because he is senile, if not for the fact that Joe Biden is also, you may have noticed, the president of the United States. And if he is not mentally competent enough to stand trial, how is he mentally competent enough to sit in the Oval Office? That's a very good question. And another question is this: just how embarrassing and troubling was Joe Biden's performance in that deposition that it led to this conclusion? Well, as a way of getting to the bottom of that, Congress has attempted to obtain the audio recording of Biden's deposition, but the Biden administration, as you just heard, is refusing to comply with the subpoena on the grounds that they don't want Biden to look bad. Now, that's not the reason they're giving, but it is the actual reason, as we all know. And this is why the House Oversight Committee was meeting last night. Very important subject, one that requires a seriousness of mind and purpose. We could all probably agree. Unfortunately, however, in the current year, Congress happens to include some of the dumbest human beings who have ever been born on planet Earth. Voters in this country have scoured the nation from sea to shining sea, looking for the most obnoxious dimwits they can find, and then they have elected those people and put them into positions of power. Now, of course, we have been electing clowns to Congress for many years, but we have now reached critical clown mass, I would say. As philosophers and scientists have long warned, when you reach critical clown mass, total dysfunction follows. And that's what we saw at this hearing on Thursday night. So let's go through this. It all began with Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who made a little dig at Democrat Representative Jasmine Crockett. Here's what she said.
I don't think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No, ain't nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Order,
Mr. Chairman.
That's beneath even order.
Okay, so that was the fuse. That was the spark in the tinderbox of stupid that was about to erupt. Marjorie Taylor Greene makes fun of Crockett's fake eyelashes. Now, you know that I am not exactly a sensitive soul when it comes to this kind of thing, or any kind of thing. I've been known to throw out insults myself on very rare occasion. It almost never happens, but on occasion I'll insult someone. And it's true that Crockett does seem to have fake eyelashes. But come on. Is a congressional hearing really a place for catty little insults like that? How does a comment about another representative's eyelashes help us obtain the recording of Joe Biden's deposition, which is supposed to be the purpose of the hearing? It does not help us. Instead, it takes things wildly off course, and that's exactly what happened. Watch.
All right, motion table. Now the chair recognizes Ms. Greene for 4 minutes and 21 seconds.
Mr. Chair, point of order.
Who's?
It's me.
Ms. Crockett.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's
Hold on.
part
I'm
of
trying to find clarification on what quality.
Chairman, motion to strike those
I had no idea
words.
what you just said.
We're not gonna do this. Look, you guys earlier literally just
You just voted to do
Y'all did
it.
it first, so you don't
just
talk about
voted to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Look at calm down.
No, because this
I
is
would
what
like to
y'all
get
do.
through proceedings.
So I'm trying
Hey,
to get
Ms.
clarification.
Crockett, you're not
You don't wanna
recognized.
play
Ms.
games.
I can't hear
Crockett.
you with your
And
yelling.
You don't want
Calm
me to
down.
Be,
Can
no,
you please calm
don't
down?
tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all
Please
talk
calm
noise
down.
and then you
You're
can't
out of
take
control.
Because if
Look,
I
Chairman,
come
can we
and
send
talk
take a
about
break
her,
for 5
y'all
minutes?
gonna have a
Mr.
problem.
Chairman, Mr. Chairman.
All right, chair.
I know why
Okay.
you're
Order.
acting
Chair
like
now
that.
recognizes
Not cute.
Ms. Greene for 4 minutes and 21 seconds.
Okay, it might be hard to discern anything that's being said over noises that sound like feral cats fighting in a back alley, so please allow me to provide a brief but fully accurate and verbatim transcript of Jasmine Crockett's remarks. She said, and I quote, "Y'all want to play games with me, don't tell me to calm down. Y'all talk noise and then you can't take it, because if I come and talk shit about her, y'all gonna have a problem." That is an actual statement made by an elected member of the United States Congress during a House Oversight Committee hearing. And I think we can safely say that it is the first time in American history that any member of Congress operating in an official capacity has ever used the phrase, "y'all talk noise." It's also, I'm guessing, the first time that the phrase "talk shit" and "y'all want to play games" has ever been uttered during a congressional hearing. It's never happened before. So we're making history here in all of the wrong ways. And that was not the only history-making moment. Listen to this exchange in the same hearing between Marjorie Taylor Greene and AOC.
How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person? Are your feelings hurt? Move her words down. Aww. Oh, girl, baby girl. Oh, really? Don't even play. Baby girl? We are going to move and we're going to take your words down.
Again, the transcript. "Oh, girl, baby girl, don't even play." There's another statement that we can assume with some measure of certainty has never been stated on the record at any congressional hearing ever in history. It is another historic first. We are witnessing history in the making. Now, if you read just the transcript of these exchanges without any context, you would assume that this was perhaps an argument between groups of people at a Waffle House. Or maybe it's a feud that broke out in the parking lot of a Bojangles fast food restaurant at 2 a.m. If you just arrived here in a time machine from 30 years ago or any time prior, you simply would not believe that this was an exchange between members of Congress. I would not be able to convince you. You wouldn't believe it. And if I did convince you of the fact, you would immediately get back in your time machine and go back to your own time to warn the world of the impending collapse of our collective IQ. And if for some reason you couldn't go back in your time machine because it ran out of gas or something, you would probably elect to throw yourself into the sea rather than stay here and live through this with us. And I couldn't blame you. Now, we should note that the Democrats were not the only ones humiliating themselves in this exchange. Marjorie Taylor Greene is no better, or if she is better, only slightly so. And this dispute between Greene and AOC continued as AOC demanded an apology for the random insults that Greene kept throwing onto the pile. Listen.
Ms. Greene agrees to strike her words.
I believe she should apologize. No.
Perry, okay, hold on. Then after Mr. Perry's going to be recognized, then Ms. Greene
I'm not
has 4 minutes and
apologizing.
21
Well,
seconds.
then you're
reserve
not
the right to
striking your
object.
words. I am
Mr.
not
Perry.
apologizing.
Now let's go. Come on, guys.
Why don't you debate me?
Mr. Chairman, the
I
minority.
think it's pretty
Chair
self-evident.
you're not.
Yeah, you're
out
not.
of order.
You don't have enough
You're out of order.
intelligence.
Chair recognizes Mr. Perry.
Okay, move to strike
I'd
the.
like to
I
strike
move to
those
strike the
words
lady's
as well.
words.
I would like to
Move to strike
order.
the lady's words again.
That's 2 requests to strike. That's 2 requests to strike.
Oh, they cannot take the words.
There's another motion to strike her words again. Please
All right.
get
Okay.
your members under
Here's
control.
the correct apology. Ms. Greene, do you agree to unanimous consent to strike your words?
I repeat again for the second time. Yes, I'll
All
strike
right.
my words, but I'm not apologizing.
Without objection.
Why don't you debate me, she says. Well, I very much hope she doesn't, because I think we've already seen what a debate between AOC and Marjorie Taylor Greene would consist of. Here's what the debate would be. You're stupid. No, I'm not. You are. And you're ugly. No, you are. No, you. And so on for 7.5 hours. And this catfight felt like it went on for that long during the hearing as the men sat there bewildered and stuttering, trying meekly and ineffectually to get the hearing back on track. So it's a very, you had the women screaming at each other and the men just standing in the middle like, it's just, come on, guys. It was a microcosm of American culture in many ways and in all the worst ways. Now, by contrast, and really you could choose any time at random, but back in the year 1858, there were a series of presidential debates between Abraham Lincoln and Senator Stephen Douglas. And these were highly contentious, emotionally charged, often involved bitter personal attacks. After all, this was only 3 years before the country would erupt in a brutal civil war that would kill 700,000 people on both sides. And yet, these men expressed their disdain for one another in eloquent and intelligent ways. So eloquent and intelligent that we can't even imagine politicians in the modern age speaking this way. So here's just one very brief example, pulled at random. In the first debate, Douglas spoke first, and Lincoln, when it was his turn, felt that Douglas had lied about him and misrepresented his his record, rather. And he was angry about that. So here was his way of accusing Douglas of dishonesty. This is just one sentence. One sentence will be enough to make the contrast clear. He said, quote, "My fellow citizens, when a man hears himself somewhat misrepresented, it provokes him. At least I find it so with myself. But when misrepresentation becomes very gross and palpable, it is more apt to amuse him." So in other words, he's saying, you lied about me so much that I'm not even angry. It's absurd how much you're lying. Now, compare that to how that same sentiment would be expressed by politicians today. Instead, it would be something like this. "Oh, baby girl, don't play with me. You best stop talking that noise with your lying ass." Now, the intelligence of our leaders hasn't just declined. It has plummeted like a meteor out of the sky and formed a crater in the ground that goes 5 miles deep into the earth. But it doesn't have to be this way. We know that because it never was this way until now. There was a time when our nation was led by men, and it used to be mostly men, let's face it, who were articulate and intelligent and dignified and composed and perhaps most importantly, boring. They were boring people. Now, I'm not saying that they were always good at their jobs or always made wise decisions. That certainly wasn't the case. But I'm simply trying to emphasize the fact that it is highly unusual from the perspective of history to have a Congress with an average IQ of 85. Okay, when we can watch this, and we know, like most of the people watching this, we are certainly smarter than the people that we hear in that exchange. These are very dumb people. But of course, the average IQ of the country has collapsed too, so we would expect, I guess, the country's representatives to follow suit. My only hope is that voters get tired of this. And I think many are. Now, not too many are not tired of it. If you go on Twitter right now, you're going to find people on both sides who are like, cheering on whoever their side was in this thing and pretending, "Oh, she got her. Did you listen to that? Oh, wow, that was a good one." So there are still absolute morons, just bottom of the barrel morons who are still somehow impressed with this kind of thing. But my hope is that most people aren't, because we don't need to be entertained by politicians. We really don't. I don't want to be. I want to turn on C-SPAN or whatever hearing and just be bored out of my skull. That's what I want. Because they are not here to amuse us. We have enough amusement. Do we need more? Everywhere you go, there's amusement, okay? Everywhere you go, there are things out there that want to amuse you. You can pick up your phone anytime, and it's just nothing but amusement. Constantly. Do we need it from politicians also? Do we need it from committee hearings? We need them to amuse us also? Like, is anyone allowed to just be serious? Can we have serious people doing anything, anywhere? Now, these people are not there to go viral. These are not social media influencers. We should have serious people leading us. Now, we need more than seriousness from them. We should also want them to be competent and have integrity and always put America first, put America's people first. And of course, we have almost no one who checks any of those boxes individually, let alone all of them. But before any of that, they need to be serious people who take the job seriously. Because none of the rest matters if they're not. It doesn't matter they claim to be, it doesn't matter. Even if they do claim they put America first, even if they appear to supposedly be competent and intelligent, if they're not serious people who are actually serious about doing the freaking job that they've been assigned to and that they have applied for and been accepted for, if they're not serious people, then none of it matters because they're not going to do anything. But we can only get serious kinds of leaders if we have serious voters who take the job of voting seriously. Because ultimately, you get the leaders you deserve. And as sad as it is to say, this is what we deserve. Thanks for checking out this video. If you'd like to listen to my full podcast on the go, you can check out The Matt Walsh Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.